What is up, the Ethical Sales Alliance family? I'll talk about how to creating a healthy team culture to bring the best out of your remote sales team, right? And I'm here to tell you that everything starts at leadership, right? I think Bedros Keuilian is how I pronounce. I probably butchered his name, but Bedros Keuilian, he spoke about on one of his podcasts that there are 3 levels of leadership, and today we will actually be mentioning 2 of the levels, right, in conjunction to creating a healthy work culture, right? So starting at leadership, the 3 levels of leadership. The second level is leading others. The first level is leading yourself. And you have to be able to lead yourself as the first level to reach the second level, which is leading others. If you haven't and cannot lead yourself to greatness, you can't expect to lead anyone else, because who starts at the second level without finishing the first? And there's no finishing really. That's probably a wrong word for it. It's constant development. But having the first one in mind, being able to do it enough to reach the second level is what we'll talk about in the next section over here. So you need to master self-leadership, right? To master leading others. And this comes in all different shapes and forms. But it's basically leading yourself in making decisions. Like leading yourself to be the person that you expect others to be, right? It can be in health and wellness, fitness, for example, or taking care of who you are, your body, mind, and soul, right? You need to lead yourself in making sure that you're on top of all of these things that you expect others to be or do or in any way have involved within their lifestyle, right? So your body, mind, and soul, that's basically making sure that you're centered or emotionally centered, right? Because if you cannot control your emotions and keep your patience, you're like a dynamite. You're a ticking bomb waiting to explode the minds, right? You're a time bomb. Is waiting to blow all over the place, right? And that's not good, especially if you have the emotional influence to a team. So we want to be able to keep our focus, have our emotions in check, and keep leading. I also believe, as the next section of this video, I also believe that creating a healthy sales team culture comes from nailing everything else around what the team needs to operate, right? So if we take a look at a company within revenue operations, anything that has with revenue to do, there are 3 parts. We have, first of all, service and sales and marketing, and we'll break through what all of these 3 means. So service, first of all, that's a company's fulfillment. That's customer success, the success rate of your service. Well put together products and offers. The way it impacts the sales team is that the sales team is basically offering this product and offer to people in need of a solution like this, because they have the problem. They are making sure that the people that we are in contact with have a problem that we can solve, right? And fulfillment is basically like the floors of the house, right? Of the entire business building, right? Without proper fulfillment or high enough success rate, the growth can crumble, right? The growth will stagnate because people aren't getting results, right? And that directly affects the mindset of a sales professional, because who wants to sell a product who does not yield results, especially if the prospects are going through the exact program, they're doing everything that they're told, but yet something is cracked up within fulfillment that we can't deliver results as we hit a large number of member communities, for example, or members within the program, or the capacity is off, right? People are falling through the cracks, right? So service is super important. Make sure that's there so we are in the right headspace, offering the product and offering the service to other people in need of the service that are presented, right? The second part, marketing. What's marketing? A consistent flow of new leads, for example, weekly if not daily, right? A proven lead model, because that's everything that the sales team is running off of, leads every single day, or if not weekly, if not all leads, as that cycle continues, right? And sales, a repeatable sales process, right? And I work with some companies that where they will just like provide me a script that the business owner does it. The business owner has a certain way to sell. Salespeople have a certain way to sell. What I've noticed, right, which in most sales reps that they will bring on have the business owner script, it just won't work. It doesn't align as well, right? So oftentimes the business owner will shower like they wouldn't even ask the questions within the sales process, with the current situation, goals, cost of inaction, the presentation. They wouldn't follow that. They would follow they would treat it as a strategy session, like an actual strategy session, if not a coaching call. So they will just shower people with product knowledge, map out an entire game plan right there, so much free information that they just have to enroll. They just have to sign up. It does not matter how, high, the business owner's closing rate is. Give it to a rep without the 10, 20 years of product knowledge, he will be backed up in a corner, like easily backed up in a corner, right? By prospects that don't really are educated on the solution, right? They will just have more, knowledge about the topic. If someone is completely new, of course, right? The questions that get asked, if we go through, product knowledge from a script, will get questions because of unclarities. We can't answer the questions. Right? I can give you a story about me joining a financial offer, which wasn't that great. The business was great, but how it turned out wasn't that great, right? So I got the script, the business owner had the script, and it was basically reading product knowledge. Like I was just showering them with product knowledge. And there was a time where, I got asked a question and I didn't know the answer. But basically what the business owner would have, answered it as, code review is his objection or smokescreen objection isn't really an objection because it doesn't really go hand in hand. This is a completely different thing with different regulations and stuff. So it's basically useless. So he could have actually enrolled, right? It doesn't affect his concern, about this one thing. I still don't know what the thing is because I'm not good at finances at all. Like that was how my business shut down because I didn't know my finances 3 years ago. So, don't learn finances from me. I'm not good at it. And that was such an easy thing to deal with. But hey, I'm 20 years old. I know about finances, right? I know how to sell. I don't know the entire product knowledge, how to do this, game plan. That's the business owner's job whenever they are in the fulfillment. But on a strategy session or coaching call, whatever you want to call it, I had no idea. The concern that he had wasn't even a valid concern, or it's definitely a valid concern, but it doesn't apply to what we were offering. It's a completely different thing, right? So, I didn't know, right? But moving on, have a predictable process, on how the company will do it, right? How the company does sales calls or goes through the process, not the owner. The owner is the owner for a reason, right? He's the influencer. They have clout. They have all the clout that they need. They can show up and probably tell people to fuck off and still close people. But anyways, so predictable process, predictable sales process, I won't go through what the criteria is for a solid sales process. We can do another video on that and go in depth into, you as a rep, what questions can you ask to, get, break down all of the questions and, truly see how the sales process works before you accept an offer, right? Or, a checklist for the business owner of, all right, so, just things to look out for. But I want to talk about sales teams. That's for another video for the sales process stuff. But sales teams. And this first one isn't difficult to get a hang of, but it's definitely a difficult mindset change for many, and just the awareness itself is what starts the entire thing, right? So I'm gonna tell you a story, or not a story, but an example. I was myself 9 months into my career, right? I grew from an SDR to a closer very quickly, and I took notice of one thing, right? 9 months in is where the starting point of where the sales team started to lose motivation, right? The motivation started to decline. So the company that I work for, happened to let go of their focus on individual growth. They somehow shifted the focus into, whatever the rep is doing is benefiting the company. And that was clear as day, right? Because that was the only message that was sent indirectly on team meetings, like the team meetings with all departments and the sales team meetings. But where the where the real motivation and the real inspiration comes from in, teams in general, and, work culture, is creating an environment where the individuals you're working with sees a clear path to get to their goals, right? So basically what they are producing has to benefit themselves. They have to feel that type of energy as well, right? In sales, that's not difficult because we work commission only. We work based on performance. Whatever we produce, we earn. But never forget about, life goals, and making sure that the members within your team knows that it is achievable with this current vehicle. If it is, actually, right? I mean, it's never lie to get an outcome. Never lie, never cheat, never steal. John Wooden's rule, right? And how they will eventually get to their life goals working with you, right? That's the mindset shift. And another 2 points to go cover is consistent reinvesting into your sales team. And it does not have to be tens of thousands of dollars into like sales training, right? That's not what it is. But there are other resources you're able to invest, like time and money and effort, right? For example, when we talk about scheduling and providing options to do sales training with the team, manage performance, right? That's just like effort and time, right? Review calls as well. Doesn't cost, well, it probably costs to have a sales manager, but it doesn't, dig deep into the company's assets, right? Other than payroll. So, for example, have that be a continuous process. Let's take managing performance be an example, right? So, for example, managing performance. One thing that has come up a lot recently is sales slumps, and what sales slumps basically is burnout, right? Burnout within the workforce, right? It is like a roller coaster in sales. So when sales are high, we ride the wave. When sales are low, we persist and we will succeed, right? But when you are in a sales slump, you kind of like become short-sighted, right? You look at the current results now instead of zooming out. So when you are in this mode of being short-sighted, you're mostly unaware of those moments, right? Of a sales slump. You start questioning yourself through, am I doing this right, or am I made for sales? I'm probably not made for this area. This is too tough for me. I can't do this. those negative thought patterns will start to creep in, right? But we all know that these moments are avoidable. These moments are very avoidable, and managing performance, be on top of your salespeople, helping people out, building these kind of relationships where they are open and honest about, what they feel like. They can open up to you. They can talk about stuff, right? Without a lashing out leader, right? Because you're all about helping people out. Basically, we're a team. So best of all, saving the best for the latest is a solid compensation plan. And this can be incentivized in different ways. I'm going to cover the industry standards of, it's probably changed over the years. So I cover the current ones, but also what it was before. Incentivizations through compensation plan can really make a huge difference, especially if a sales rep, goes, hey, I have 3 days left to hit this mark, so I get the bonus, right? And it can look like, well, if you've, between 0 to 50,000, you're earning 12.5% commission. Between 50 to 17, you are between 50,000 to 75,000 revenue this month, you earn 15% commission on the total amount. And if you reach 100,000 and above, you get 17.5 or 20%, which are these commission bumps on the total of the month. So when you build for 12.5% on the 50 grand that were generated in the first 2 weeks of the month, because you send invoices bi-weekly, you'll bill the rest of the mission commissions on the total amount. That incentivizes a lot of people because, hey, it's a bigger piece of the pie. Let's go. Let me go ham and hit 100,000 every single month for the company, right? And it can look different for every single company, but these can really help as a closer and as a setter, right? So industry standards have changed over the years. I think before, closers would get closer to 15 to 20% on closing calls, and what I like to call it, enrollment calls. Today, it's like 10% that you'll see way more often on cash collected. Obviously, you can have bonuses, tier systems, and incentivizes, all of that good stuff. And setters and SDRs usually get a base plus commissions. There are companies who do without a base, but always do your own due diligence if you're watching this as a rep and wanting to provide more value, understanding the team work culture overall, right? It can look like, what I've seen is $1,000 to $1,500 base plus a 3 to 5% commission on deals closed, right, that you've set and qualified. That seems pretty standard, but it also depends. Like I said, some people offer no base, some people do with base, and the base can look very different to others. I've seen a base in an automation offer for setters be $4,000 like a month, and it differs, right? You can find this golden opportunity, which are very rare, and you can go with the 10, a 1,000, 1,500 base, which I think is very solid. Like, you can do a lot with that compensation plan. But yeah, this is pretty much it with creating like a healthy culture. It goes mostly into awareness, mindset, and leadership. What I believe in is everything rises and falls on leadership, and leadership is often the cause of the problem, and it is often the solution. So if you are in a situation to lead a team, pay attention to the messages that you send or hints that you send directly and indirectly, right? All right, that's the video for today, and I'll see you in the next one.